welcome back to Blue Heart Craft Catchup. Don't know what episode this is, but I hope you're all doing well. My name's Abby, I live in the northwest of England, and on this channel I talk about all the crafty things I have been up to recently. So yeah, it's been a bit of a while since I've been on. Just had a lot of family stuff, had a lot of family illness, and then myself really not been too well, and then also I've had to do a lot more shifts at work as well, because we've had a bit of shortage with staff, as we've had some staff leaving recently, so it's just all around been hectic. Sorry, you can see the reflection in my glasses. It is getting dark here, so I do have to have those lights on opposite me. Yeah, otherwise it's just not very bright. But yeah, let's get on to the crafty stuff, which is what you're all here for. Yeah, there's I've not got a lot of progress considering how long it's been since I've done an episode, but anyway, we'll get on. My only finished object is these socks. These are the fidget socks. So these are my fidget socks, which are for Amanda, a little life hack. If your socks in, you know it, Mal. Basically knitting socks. You've got to have finished the socks within 2 weeks of starting them, and then you also we're all picking our yarns randomly in different ways and pulling the name of the yarn out of the bag. I was picking a name pattern out of the bag as well, but I think I'm gonna just leave it because I think I just want to have some plain knitting socks rather than having to look patterns each time, because they're all self-striping as well, so I don't know how well they're gonna look with the patterns. This pattern, really great, liked it a lot. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. I'll link it down below like I will with all the patterns I talk about. But one thing I will say is it doesn't look as good as when it's in like a tonal or solid yarn. But this is what it looks like. Yeah, I didn't even see it. I don't think this light's doing the yarn justice, but this is West Yorkshire Spinner Sparkle, Signature Sparkle 4-ply in the Colourway Fairy Lights. This is one of their Christmas yarns. They did it a few years ago. I didn't get it in the year it was out. I never really get them sock yarns in the year they're out, because not always am I a fan of them, but this one I really liked, so I did it. And yeah, I really like them. The only thing I did different than the pattern is I did the integrated heel, which is by Albina McLaughlin. That one is a pay for pattern, but I'd highly recommend it. Great pattern, really enjoyed it. I said first time I did it was last pair of socks are the first ones I did this year, and I liked it so much I thought let's give it a go again. So these are my only finished objects, and I do need to try and get a picture of them to post in the Ravelry thread for March. But yeah, that's all I've got finished. As I said, it's been hectic few months, but what have I got next? And this is my words, Abby, words. My triangulum. As you can see, so it's like I am sort of going to put this on the back burner. I'm not going to be getting focused and worked on and try and get it finished by the end of the year. This is going to be something that's a bit more long term, just because I've got a lot of things going on this year and I need to sort of prioritise those projects because they are for other people, they are gifts for other people, so I've got a time limit on them, which this is just fun for me. So I may pick it up every now and again and work on it, but at the moment this is where I'm just going to leave it at. So if I have a little look here, that one there is the last one you saw. So I did that pink and yellow one there, that purpley and bluey one, then I did, I'm trying to see what's on camera, that yellow and blue, and then I've just finished off with that peach and that purple. I am weaving the tails in as I go along. It's just I've not cut them yet because I didn't have a pair of scissors on me. All I had was my little, like, I use it for traveling. It's like a circle with you put the yarn through the gap and it cuts the yarn. It's got blades on the inside. It's great for if you're going on planes and things like that where you are limited and can't really carry scissors and stuff like that, but it's not precise enough where I feel comfortable cutting off the ends right by the edge. But the triangulum is a paid-for pattern. I am using the Advent yarns from my 2023 Advent calendars, my Yarny Corner and Mouse Witch yarns. They were the ones who I purchased the Advent calendars off, so that's what I've been working on and getting that through. I am not putting them on as the days, I'm putting them on as what colours go best together. Well, not best, but you know what colours I think might go interesting together. It's great because I'm being able to experiment on colour things together and see which ones I really like which one is it that I fell in love with? There was one recently I did. It was that last one there, the peach and the purple. I really liked how that looked together. There's so many of this where I'm like, yeah, I think they'll look okay together. I'll put them together and I'll be like, oh, I love them. And then there's others I'll go, oh yeah, I think they'll look good together. And then they go together and I'm like, not a great fan. So it's really good as it's like sort of getting me to have a look and see what ones I like the most colour wise and things like that. So yeah, that's gonna go on the back burner for a while, so you won't be seeing that. I am gonna try and get my other advent blanket done as soon as possible. I want to try and get that done fairly quickly. I feel like this one's a lot easier for me to pick up and take on the go with me, and it's a lot more I don't have to concentrate as much. And yeah, so here we are. This is it. I do need to weave ends in on this. So this is my fake Battenberg blanket. So there is a Battenberg blanket which is a free pattern online, but it's loads of little granny squares, and I saw others doing it in a corner to corner version, and I was like, oh, I really like that. So I decided to do that with my Advent yarns. So this is the starting one here. So that should be actually over there, shouldn't it? So that's where I started. Oh no, I've got to show you this way because this is where the stitch marker is. So that purple square there, the purpley pink, was what you saw last. So I'm trying to see what you can see. So I then did that yellow, this blue, that orange, then went back down here, did that yellow there, did that purpley grey one, white, and then this yellow, the orangey pinky one, then the lilac. So they were the two that were on that they were the two that were on the last hexagon that you saw, and then I've just done these two down here. So I am really enjoying that, and it's really interesting seeing like how the colours come up differently. Like there's that last square there, I've made them two squares, and it's really interesting to see how they look different in the crochet compared to the knitting. So I'm really liking that. I absolutely love this, adore this. This is no way doing all these beautiful yarns justice, and I am doing it in the order at which I open them. These are going in order. I just sort of say out of the 2 days I'll go, which one looks better going first and which one looks better going second, compared to the colours around it. But what I think is really interesting is because one of them was just completely random, it was animals from all over the world. The other one was a sort of, it flowed together really nice, but it wasn't supposed to be a fade. So what's really interesting I think is because you've got those two mixes, you can see the colours as they're going through. So you start off with like all the pinkies, then you're going into blues, then you're going down into yellows, and now we're going into the oranges. And I think it's really interesting because you can see that flow going through it, but it doesn't look like it was supposed to sort of be a fade or anything like that. It just makes it a bit cohesive going around in the rainbow, but at the same time the other ones really sort of mix it up and add a bit of interest and intrigue into it. So that is the other whip I've been working on. The third and final whip I've been working on, I say this, I've also got an FO that I can't show you because it is a pattern test, but I absolutely loved it. Really great pattern, really adorable as well. Yeah, it was, oh, it's so cute. So I can't wait to be able to show you that. But yeah, so I'm getting myself a bit confused here, but yeah, this is the third final whip that I've been working on that I can show you. and it is just a basic corner to corner. Now this does not look too good on the camera, but it looks a lot nicer in person. So it's all these different colours here. It's very short colour changes. This is what the ball of yarn looks like. There are all the colours in it. This bit here is the end of the third ball of yarn, and then I've sort of wound it onto the fourth as I was going out today, and I didn't know whether I'd break into that fourth ball while I was out, so I decided to keep that on me. So I decided to just make a magic knot with the two ends, wrap the third ball around, because I'd like about 5 to 10 grams, and then it's one ball of yarn, then I'm not having to worry about it. So yeah, this is just a corner to corner. Now, I will say, I got gifted these yarns, I think it was last year, I think it was, that I got gifted this yarn sometime. I actually got a ball here. I've got 8 of them, and it's the Hobby Essentials Streamer yarn. It's a 50-gram ball. These come in, they're 100% acrylic. And they're from a shop in the UK here called Poundland. I think you must be able to get them elsewhere because there are 2 other currencies. There's a PLN and CZK, I'm not sure what they are. There's GBP, which is Great British Pound, and then there's also EUR, which is Europe. But then again, even if they just sell it in like some island, I think there's Poundland and, well, it won't be Poundland in Ireland because they use euros, but yeah, so it doesn't necessarily mean it's available dead far wide, but then because it uses euros. But the other 2, I'm thinking, yeah, it must be available in other parts of the world. But anyway, I digress. But I got gifted these, and I thought, you know what, these make a great baby blanket. And my cousin's daughter is expecting her first child. I know it sounds really weird, like my cousin's daughter. Honestly, no, it's really quite normal. My dad, there's like 6 years between the oldest and the youngest. My dad's the youngest. The one who's having the baby is a descendant of the eldest. My dad's oldest brothers had kids when they were like, in their early 20s, got married. I'm my dad's oldest, and I was, well, biological oldest. I was born when he was in his mid-30s. So there is a massive age gap between me and my younger sister and my cousins on my dad's side. So my cousin was 19 when she had her daughter, and she was around 16 when I was born. So her daughter's actually only around 3 years younger than me. We went to school at the same time. Sometimes we were in the same school and things like that. And yeah, and she was 3 years below me. So she is in her mid-20s. So it's not like weird. It's not weird or anything like that as to why my cousin's becoming a grandparent and I am not a parent yet or anything like that. I feel like I need to sort of explain because it does sound a bit weird when I say, oh, my cousin's daughter. But yeah, anyway, she's expecting a baby, so I thought this is perfect time to break out this yarn. Got 8 balls of it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do corner to corner. When I get to once I've used the 4th ball, I'm going to pull back 2 rows, maybe 3. Depends on, how much is in there. I'm doing at least 2 full rows, but it depends on how much was in that partial 3rd row that I'll pull back and things like that. And what I'll do is that'll give me enough to be able to decrease, because you do use more when you decrease in corner to corner, more yarn. So that should give me enough with the decrease. And also I'm hoping to go around it in single crochet at least once, and then what I'll do is I'll pick out one of the colours in this ball of yarn, match it up to something I've got in my stash, and just do a like double crochet border, or US terminology here, something like a double crochet border, just to sort of go around, make it a bit cohesive and neaten it up and just make it feel less busy. Yeah, that's what we're at. I mean, and thing is, I was worried about this because I sort of noticed it. So in the first 2 balls I used perfect, but then the 3rd ball I've used looks like the 4th ball, and then also this ball, which is number 7, because I've numbered them all, like, so that I can remember how many I've done, what ball I'm up to and things like that. So yeah, the colours are different. So on this one, on the first two, like the reds and the greens and the yellows and the blues were quite wide, whereas on these, if you have a little look, the red is tiny, the white is quite big, and the orange is all right, the blue is massive. And then, like, you know, so yeah, the colour proportions on how they've changed, like how much of each colour's changed, and I thought you can sort of notice it a bit in person, not massively, and when you hold it up in the camera you can really see the notice. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope it doesn't look too bad when it's done, because otherwise I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to just get it, because I mean there's nothing I can do. I'm not going to go and search through Poundland and trying to find balls that match up to it or anything like that. No, because I'm trying to use what I've got in stash, not buy more to sort of compensate for dodgy dye techniques. But hey ho, I just, you know, I know that each dye lot can be different, but I assumed with maybe a commercial yarn it would be, if the colour changes are going, they'd be a bit more similar. There wouldn't be that much of a difference, but hey ho, it is what it is. But yeah, that's what I've been working on. I do have one acquisition. I say one acquisition. I bought both my advent calendars. So I've bought the Mouse with Charms one again, and then I've bought the My Yarny Corner one, which, well, I've bought the first couple of months of the My Yarny Corner one because it's getting released monthly, and you buy a few months at a time. So apart from the advent calendars, I bought this, and I know that it's supposed to be on a yarn ban, but I'm not on a total ban. I'm trying to use more than what I bring in. That's the goal at the minute, because I have bought the advent calendar. I am sort of struggling to try and make it back up again. I was doing great beforehand. I was using more than what I had brought in, but the advent calendar sort of set me back. But keep working on it, you'll get there. I'll catch up eventually again. But then I bought this again off Mouse with Charms, handmade by Poppy and Mouse, and oh, my heart goes out to Miss Poppy. She's not been very well recently. Oh, bless her. My heart breaks when I hear people's pets not doing well, because, you know, they are our world. I've got my pet on the other side of the couch. She's fast asleep. But this is the Birthstone collection, and this is the Aquamarine one, variegated, which Aquamarine is March. And oh my god, look at the blues. Look at it. Look at the speckles. Oh, it's gorgeous. And I don't know whether Mandy did this on purpose, but if she did, genius. If she didn't, this is an amazing coincidence. So I've kept the tissue paper in the wrapper just to be able to show you this, right? So it came in, you know, blue tissue paper with a little sticker on saying thank you. Perfect. Blues, all cohesive, right? Really cute. The mailbag it came in, again, blue, goes perfect. I was like, that is genius, it all coming in blue to match it up that well. I don't know whether it was done on purpose or what, but either way, I looked at it, it made me smile. I was like, oh my gosh, that's the best thing ever. So I've been keeping it all in the packaging bag, so that I could show you all, because I thought that was genius. And I'll link Mandy's shop down below in the description box if you want to check her out. But I am just going to do a bit of crafting while I chat to you all, and just sort of give you a bit of an update on what's been going on, why I've been so absent. If you have if you don't really care about life updates, totally get it, totally understand. Hope you're all having a wonderful week, staying safe and taking care. I am planning on doing a few more videos soon, so hopefully it won't be that long before it's the next time we see you. But yeah, take care, and I'll speak to you all soon. If you are here for the life updates, so as I said, we've had a few people leave in work. I've got one co-worker at the moment who goes off sick every other week, and oh my gosh, because there's only two of us who are part-time. One's part-time because they're in university. I'm part-time because I'm a carer. So normally when someone's off sick, it's normally me who's getting pulled in to come and do some cover work. yeah, and as I said, it's co-worker going off all the time at the moment. I'm not going to go into it. Yeah, it's been a bit stressful to say the least. And yeah, and we've had some staff leaving, some coming in, but we've got a few more part-time staff members in at the moment. So fingers crossed, I am not going to be getting pulled in all the time to do covering. You know, there are some times where I'll go to them, listen, no, I can't cover it, I can't come in today, or like, you know, I'll have an emergency. So I had a family emergency where a family member of mine, we thought we were going to have to take them to A&E. Worst case scenario, best case scenario, I could help look after them at home, keep them okay, and help them. But either way, they needed someone with them that day, so I had to call in work that one. And you know what, my boss is fabulous with it. She's absolutely amazing. Very grateful to have her. So yeah, that's sort of been it's been hectic. And as I said, family have not been well. There's been a lot of, everyone's been ill basically, long story short. But then also I've had, my gastro symptoms have been getting really worse to the point where they are impacting on most days. I very rarely go out anymore unless it's to work or to, you know, do things that my family member needs who I care for, like taking them to the doctors, doing their shop and things like that. The first time where like in ages where I went out and like, you know, had a laugh meeting up with people like friends and stuff like that was Wednesday. Before that I couldn't tell you when it was, because my symptoms are that bad that I'm just so anxious going out, and that is with me taking my PRN medication whenever I go out and things like that. So yeah, it's been really bad, and I am under the hospital for it. So basically I said I was going to explain it to people when things are a bit more clearer. So this is probably going to go on for a little while, but like the explanation, but anyway, I'll try and do it as quick and concise. In October 2022 I went to my GP. I had to have an annual checkup because I am on the learning disability register. So yeah, I went for a checkup, just, you know, see how everything's going. And I brought up something that I'd been noticing, some symptoms. Now, when I've looked at my notes from like my psychiatrist and stuff like that, like the letters you get from them, I started complaining about these symptoms in March 2021. So yeah, and then by October 2022 I'd noticed it got to a point where I was like, oh, this is nothing, like this is not just going to go away on its own, this could be something a bit serious. So I brought it up in this annual appointment. The nurse who I saw was very concerned, so they booked me in with the doctor. The doctor has been absolutely phenomenal, Dr. Lim. He's done every single test under the sun, and he said, looking at all my test results, what's it called, he thinks there's something going on. He theorized it was irritable bowel disease. That was what his theory was, but he's not a gastro specialist, so he had to refer me to gastroenterology at the hospital. And I said, oh, IBS, is that the same thing? And he was like, no. And he said he really does not think I've got IBS at all. He was quite adamant that, you know, it's not IBS. He couldn't tell me exactly what it was without doing more tests, but it was definitely not IBS. He was sure of that. So anyway, so I went to the hospital, had the appointment in July last year, just because it was January last year before all my tests had been done by the doctor. So anyway, went to gastro, saw the consultant there. The consultant was very, very flippant, and in fact he was actually going to discharge me back to the community without doing a single test or a single investigation, but they have to you know, ask you a series of questions. And there was one question that he asked, and when I answered that, he was like, oh, well, that's a bit unusual. He said that's not something that's generally more indicative of a more serious condition, which we would have to investigate. So he then said, right, I've got to follow the protocol and you have to go for a colonoscopy. I was like, great, okay. But he was he was adamant that because I went to the doctor in October 2022 and I'd been out the country in October 2022, he was adamant that I had IBS and that I'd caught a bug on holiday and that had just made it a lot worse. And I tried explaining to him, I was like, no, it's not, it didn't start then. That's just when I noticed it because I was sharing a room with someone, and you know, it's, you know, bathroom, no windows, you sort of understand people's bathroom habits a bit more. But anyway, so he sent me for the colonoscopy. In September last year, my symptoms had got really bad. I'd had to take nearly 3 weeks off work because I was just I couldn't leave the house. I didn't leave the house at all for 2.5 weeks. The person who I care for, I had to get another family member to come over and look after them and do their jobs for them because I could not leave the house. It was very bad. So I rung up, got an emergency appointment. This was with a different doctor though, but still one of the consultants. He basically was even more dismissive than the first one I spoke to. He was like, oh, well, you've just got IBS, you know, and he was like, when the colonoscopy confirms that I am right, then I'm gonna write a treatment plan for you today so that when the colonoscopy confirms everything I'm saying, because, you know, it is definitely IBS, then they can start you on this medication and we can discharge you straight away. I was like, bit concerned that you are being that preemptive on what test results are gonna say, but if it means I get started on treatment straight away, I am not complaining. Fast forward a week, I get called in to the GPs. They have to have an emergency appointment with me. I'm, you know, bricking it like, what on earth has gone on? And I'm sat down with this doctor and he's, you know, asking me, what medications do you take? You know, what dosages do you take? And I'm there going, it's on my screen. What happened was this consultant I told the doctor to start putting me on amitriptyline to help with the IBS, or the so-called IBS I've got. And I'm on a higher dose of amitriptyline already because I have PTSD. And it is primarily a medication for psychiatric disorders. It's sometimes, rare cases, used for IBS as like sort of a last resort treatment. And so I had to get called in by the GP to figure out whether it is that I don't understand what medications I'm on because of my disability, or whether I am getting these prescriptions done and I am secretly not taking them, at which case my psychiatric team have to then get involved and assess me and look at whether I need to then be an inpatient. So this was absolutely petrifying for me. I was so scared the psych were going to get me involved and potentially put me in a facility. You know, it's my words against theirs on that, and I'm like, no, I take it honestly, because I couldn't live without it. I would be having nightmares every single night. I'd be reliving that trauma every single night, multiple times a night, if I did not take that medication. It is a lifesaver for me. And I'm on a higher dose than what this consultant from the hospital wanted me to go on. The doctor did have to inform my psych team, but he did put forward to the doctor that, you know, that he thinks that, you know, it was the doctor's, not the consultant's, not checked sort of thing. They were, you know, they did put down that they were very happy that I was continuing to take this medication as I should, and that I understood what medications I was on, and this was all a consultant error. So thankful my GP did this, and that, because if I was still with my old GP, they definitely wouldn't have done this. They would have assumed it's on me. So yeah, and it was at this point that the GP said, well, this is like the reason why I was so adamant you didn't have IBS and that it was something else, because I have tried every single treatment under the sun. I've tried all the diets. I've tried keeping a food diary and a symptom diary on Excel and highlighting them all different colours and trying to correlate them all and everything. All the diets you're supposed to do. I've tried every medication that you can buy over the counter for it, and because I'm on the amitriptyline as well, and absolutely none of it is helping. And he said if I did have IBS, he's convinced at least one of it would not necessarily take the symptoms away, but I'd have at least some improvement. Instead, it's just getting worse and worse each week, each month. And so that's why he was so convinced. And I was like, right, okay, well, that's great for you to know, because then, you know, that's something I can pass on to the consultant. So I had the colonoscopy. The colonoscopy said that I had inflammation and I had ulcers. So I was like, right, okay, that's it. I've been, you know, worried about it. I had an appointment earlier this month, which again has been part of the anxiety. It's just not been helping very well, and it's just meant that I've just been struggling with the mental space to do anything. So I had the appointment with the consultant. It was the first one who I'd seen. I saw him again. I took my mum along with me this time, just sort of make sure that I'm not saying things wrong, because I said you got the wrong end of the stick with when it was starting, and I didn't want it to be me communicating wrong. So yeah, my mum came with me, and he's scratched off that I caught a bug in Tunisia that made it worse. He's scratched that off now. He is a lot more concerned with my symptoms, and he is, like, you know, he is quite concerned with how bad they are. He said from the few pictures he's seen, there's no inflammation. He was gonna get back. He was gonna then explain the ulcers, but he never actually got around to explaining the ulcers, what's going on. So he's gonna. It's not IBD then. So he's run. I've got 2 more tests that they're doing next. Both of them are within the next few weeks. And I've got an appointment with the consultant again in July. But he is still sort of holding on to the fact that it's IBS. And, you know, spoke to my mum about it, and she shares the same concerns with me. My concern is what they're trying to do is they're just trying to, because they're just trying to treat the symptoms, which is what you do with IBS, is you treat the symptoms that you're having. But because they're treating the symptoms, it is sort of temporarily putting the symptoms on hold, but then it's causing new symptoms. So because of the treatment methods are stopping what is happening. I don't want to go into too much detail because it's quite humiliating, and, you know, it's not something that, you know, you want to be hearing about on the internet and that. But basically, because this medication they're doing is stopping the symptoms I'm having, it's then causing other symptoms. I'm in pain most days. I'm in pain at the moment. And because they're doing that and they're not actually looking and going, oh, this is what's causing those symptoms, and treating what is causing those symptoms, they're never going to end. I've either got to pick, do I want the symptoms of the bowel condition I've got, or do I want the symptoms of the medication to stop those symptoms? I've got to pick and choose at the moment which one's worse. And it is absolutely miserable, honestly. I have to make that decision every morning, which ones I prefer. And it's a nightmare. You are choosing hell, basically. You've got to choose which one's going to be a bit easier to take. So, for example, today I am in so much pain. And that's where I'm at. He's put me on a medication that is like a controlled substance. It's quite strong. I am quite concerned about being on this medication. But because I'm seeing him again in July, it then means that, you know, I'm not going to be on it that long, and I can look at it coming off it then. But yeah, at least I need to say I've tried it, you know. So that's where we were, and that's sort of why I've been hesitant to tell people, because I'm getting told one message by one person, getting told one message by another person, and I'm here in the middle, not having a clue what's going on, but struggling every single day. So it's sort of been miserable at the moment. So that's sort of what's been going on with me, and it wears down on your mental health. I am on the highest dose of all my medications, all my psychiatric medications at the moment. I've gone up to the highest dose on all of them. So yeah, it's not great at the moment. Yeah, but as I said, I've got tests tomorrow. I've got another one, because this test I've got to do it on 2 separate occasions. So I've got one this week, one next week, and then a week on Tuesday I've got another test again. So yeah, that's where I'm up to. And I've actually nearly done, oh, no, I thought I was about to say I've nearly done row. No, I've done that much rally stroke. There we are, at least I've got some done. But anyway, I'm gonna go because I am going on for ages and ages. Yeah, but I really also want to just say a massive thank you to the people who've reached out to me, because I have had a few people reach out to me and message me on Instagram saying that they noticed that I've not posted much on YouTube, and you know, they want to know, is everything okay, am I doing okay? And honestly, those messages have had me in tears, but happy tears, you know, that people are reaching out. They notice that you're not there at the moment, and it's meant the world, honestly. So yeah, massive thank you to all those people that it has meant. Just I can't put it into words, but yeah, I'm gonna start getting emotional and crying talking about this. So I'm gonna go. I hope you're all doing well, staying safe, taking care, and yeah, hopefully I'll be back to speak to you all very, very soon. Bye.